Männer, es war ein langer Krieg. Es war ein harter Krieg. Ihr habt tapfer und stolz für euer Vaterland gekämpft. Ihr seid eine besondere Truppe, die ineinander einen...
Hey everyone, this is the Hydra Hut. This is Batman by Doug Minch and Kelly Jones. So I'll give a brief description of this book, but if you want a really good, in-depth description about this series of stories by Doug and Kelly, you can go to Comic Pro Artist Secrets, and Ethan actually interviewed Kelly Jones, and they talked specifically about this series and what led up to it and what went behind the thought and everything. Essentially, though, this is a Batman detective series. It was when the Detective Comics were kind of not in with the major continuity of the universe. So what they did is they went their own way with Batman. And Kelly and Doug saw Batman as a much darker, more sinister character than he's normally portrayed. And that's where they went with it. Kelly also has Vampire Batman, which is part of the Elseworld series. Those are amazing, and you can see a lot of that Batman in this one. Like this skeletal looking spine we see in his cloak, that's a callback to that vampiric Batman in the Elseworlds, which is cool. If you haven't read those, check those out as well. Those are freaking great. This is Volume 1. Volume 2 is actually coming out in August of this year. So I would recommend getting this, checking it out. I'm not going to cover too much of the stories. There's a lot of stories in here. But I will just kind of explain it, show you a lot of the pictures so you can get an idea of what to expect. But look, these are all the ones it's covering. Lots and lots of the Rogues Gallery, all brought to you with Kelly's art, which is very cool, very dark, classic horror styled. A little bit more about the quality of the book. So great cover, great back, which is also a cover that appears, or a panel that appears inside the book. A nice brief description. Real cool thing. So it's, of course, got this stupid little advertisement by IGN. Like, anybody cares what IGN has to say in anything now. Those guys are a bunch of freaking hacks, and I don't like advertising on my books. But anyway, take off the dust cover. It just looks like a black book, but I think the phone will let you see we actually got this nice indentation of Kelly's Batman, the wording. That's, I think, pretty awesome. All black. Very fitting to what the stories are about and everything. Yeah. So the writing is very classic. These you can kind of tell what era these were done in when they were writing them, and it's a nice turn from modern comics where everything is very socialistic, you could say. These are all very, very capitalistic based. Communists are still bad guys in these. Socialists aren't particularly trusted. The story is just fantastic. We start off with this Russian crew, KG Beast. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this character, but he doesn't pop up often, and I think this is a great representation of him. His whole first story is just fantastic. And look at this art. We get to see Kelly Jones' take on Dick Grayson and Tim Drake, I think is the Robin we see here. I forget, actually. It's Robin and Nightwing. I'm pretty sure it's Tim Drake Robin. Anyway, it's just really nice to see all these characters through a different lens. And when they the story first starts out, when Batman first shows up, everybody's like, "Whoa, what's going on with your costume? Something's changed." And he's kind of cryptic about it, but very clear that he's changing a lot of stuff, and he's going for a totally different vibe. Gordon and him are not really friends in the start of this series. Gordon is very, very displeased with him. This is taking place after... I forget what that big storyline, but this is taking place after an event where Batman caught a lot of flack for the decisions he made. So everything's very, very tense. Nobody's a huge fan of Batman, and Batman is getting very, very, very dark on people. And he's trying to use fear in a much more in-your-face way to get his way than he has in the past. Alright, so I'm just going to start flipping through pages because I don't want to explain these stories too much. I'd rather you just see what this has to offer. So let's look at the Rogues Gallery, shall we? We got Dreamer. Look at that! Ah! It's so awesome. And all these stories carry a certain continuity. It's not just a bunch of jumping around and ridiculousness or anything like that. Look at that Killer Croc. And not getting around. And the covers for this run are great. This whole run was very cool. I think the only reason it ended is because they wanted to bring the detective series back into the main continuity, and this style of Batman just did not fit. I think this is a story that also has Swamp Thing in it. Hoping to go past him because his take on Swamp Thing's a little different here than it was when he actually started drawing him for the series. Let's just move along to another. Ooh, yeah. I really like Jones's take on a good portion of the Rogues Gallery for Batman. It's already got a great dark cast, and his spin on things is really a nice touch. And look how dynamic all this is. It's freaking great. And Minch is an awesome writer. A lot of times when you get these compendiums and omnibuses and stuff, big collections, unless you're really into it, they can kind of get boring halfway through, but this is very, very easy to read and just gorgeous to look at. So you can get this from pretty much anywhere. TFAW. I got this from In Stock Trades. I believe it's still on sale for I'll put the price down in the description of the video because I don't remember off the top of my head, and scripting's for people who care. Oh, you're a dead man. Kelly Jones has a sweet dead... Okay, so I'm a huge Neal Adams fan. I also love Arthur Adams. Arthur Adams does gorgeous women. Anyway, Neal Adams. Love Neal Adams stuff. I'm going to cover his Batman Odyssey, which is so freaking crazy. But anyway, check out his Dead Man. It looks way different than Neal Adams. And he basically, like... So Neal Adams didn't do the original art. He was like the follow-up artist on the run, but he owned it with his freaking art style. Nobody could touch it. Nobody was satisfied with anybody else covering it. And then Kelly went ahead and tried it, and he went a totally different route. He turned Deadman into a freaking corpse, and it's just cool. Changed the character enough to make it his own without affecting anything, and I got a lot of respect for Kelly. Deadman! Alright. So, I'll try not to ramble on anymore and go ahead and end this. But again, guys, this book is great. And you got to order the if you order this one, I guarantee you're going to want to order volume 2 in August, because these stories are fantastic. These are hands down some of my favorite Batman. But I like things dark, so. Alright. I'll bore you no more. Hail Hydra, baby.